kids with the Mets are unbelievable. All right, if you could build your pitching staff around one of those Mets young studs, who would it be? Which one would you take?
This vote is not based on the NLCS or the playoffs. It's based on what I've seen on the Mets all year long. Now, maybe not the last 3 years, but throughout the season, it is DeGrom. And the reason I like him the best was evident again last night in Game 3, is he can not have his best stuff. He can be struggling to locate his fastball, and then yet he's so young, it doesn't mess up his mind. He says, okay, well, I'll just throw breaking balls and little off-speed stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's what impresses me the most about him. They all have great physical gifts. DeGrom seems to have a little more moxie, or at least he's got the mojo going this season of, I don't care what it is, I'm finding a way to win the game, one way or the other.
I'm going Syndergaard.
Okay.
And I'm going Syndergaard because, first of all, his average fastball this year led the league, 97.1 miles an hour. His average fastball, 97.1 miles an hour. When John Gray throws a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, we go, whoa, right?
Right.
Out of Coors Field. This guy averages 97.
So I don't blame you for that.
Killer breaking ball. And he also looks very composed to me for a kid that just, I watched his debut against the Cubs back in May. And every time every pitch he threw, I'm going, wow. Wow. It was kind of like watching Kerry Wood when he first came up for the Cubs. I say wow with Matt Harvey a lot, especially he had unbelievable control the other night against the Cubs with a killer fastball and a killer breaking ball. DeGrom, very poised, has great stuff. This Matz kid is pretty good. We're going to see him tonight against the Cubs. But there's something about Syndergaard, Thor, maybe it's his nickname, Thor, that I like. I would love to build my staff, my rotation around him. You know, Harvey, I'm a little worried because of all the crap that went on this year. I don't think he handled himself all that well. Plus, he's just had the Tommy John. So give me the young one. Give me Thor. Jorge De La Rosa is arguably the Rockies' best pitcher, right?
Right.
Number one on the staff. Where would he fit in the Mets rotation?
5th.
Would he?
Yeah. Is he that good?
I'm saying 6th.
Okay, so he's
because Zach Wheeler, another hard-throwing young stud for Mets, is coming back.
Long relief.
Yeah, long relief.
So
what does that tell you? What does that tell you about where this team is and how it can compete? And by the way, all of those kids, all of those Mets pitchers we named, all 5 of them are signed through at least 2018, are under the Mets' control at least 3 more years. Where does that leave the Rockies in the National League?
Okay, it leaves the Rockies in a tough situation, to be sure. But it also causes the Rockies to acknowledge this. And I've preached and begged and squealed and groveled about this forever. This is how you build the Rockies. Forget starting pitching. Really, do. Just forget it. You have mashers because you hit here. You have great defenders because you can't give up a cheap run in Coors Field. And then it's cheaper to build a great bullpen than it is to build a great starting staff.
True.
So that's...
Unless you're paying Boone Logan $5 million a year.
But even, okay, you make a mistake in the bullpen.
It's a cheap shot, sorry.
I know, but I'll even respond to that. You make a mistake in the bullpen, and that's a mistake on $5 million a year.
Yeah.
You make a big mistake in the starting rotation, and that's $12 million a year.
True.
So that's another reason why, and a bullpen is something you can rebuild if necessary.
Well,
if not every
teams
year.
rebuild their bullpens every single year.
Every year.
Yeah.
And so that's where the pitching starts. How to build a pitching staff in Coors Field starts is with the bullpen. I'd like to say you could build the Mets rotation in Coors Field, but I don't think you ever can because it's not, Coors Field is not the environment.
You have to draft and develop better.
Well, yeah.
And they have yet to prove they can do that. Although I'm willing to give Bridich a chance. He really hasn't had a chance yet. And then you've got to be able to keep the guys healthy. And we know it's harder to keep guys healthy here.
Both physically and mentally healthy, because John Gray himself, and some people got down on John Gray for this. I didn't. he said, hey man, I pitch pretty good on the road, but I come to Coors Field and I don't have it figured out. And it's obviously gotten to his head a little bit. And the reason it did is because it's hard to pitch in Coors Field.
It is.
And if you pitch 1 inning in Coors Field, this makes sense too. I'm not very good at math. If you pitch the 7th inning as a reliever in Coors Field, it's not as hard as having to pitch first, the second, the third, the fourth, and fifth, because sooner or later they're going to get you here. Here's one more idea. If you have a great arm, it doesn't matter. And I even suggested this with John Gray. Bring him up earlier. Make him your 7th inning guy. Let him succeed all he wants there. And then he's walking around like, I can do anything.
Shows himself he can pitch here.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Not a
I
bad
got
idea.
ideas. Didn't say they were good ones, but I have ideas.